There are many ways to deliver the words we choose in our sales conversations, but there's one particular quality to delivery that adds more influence, more persuasion, and more bang for our buck than any other. Deliver your words with this and they land. Without it, they might not. Tone of voice in sales matters. It adds to the words we use, or it takes something away from them. The tone of voice I want to recommend to you today is authority. Why? Because authority sells. When we speak with authority, act with authority, we're believable, we're credible, we're influential. This is something we experience every day. One particular example to which I often return was in one of my first jobs when I moved to London. I was working in the ski and surf department at Harrods in Knightsbridge. I'd never skied or surfed, so probably not the most knowledgeable shop assistant ever. But in this case, we're not talking about my authority, but the authority of a customer. I remember the day well. I was standing next to the till. A man was walking towards me with an arm full of ski wear. He was in his mid-50s, immaculately dressed in a three-piece suit and a long winter coat. He oozed confidence, importance, and authority. I sensed he was a successful businessman or a senior diplomat. Anyway, I de-tagged all his ski wear and the total was about £12,000 or £13,000. I remember it was more than my annual salary at that time. On request for payment, he handed over a platinum American Express card, something you rarely saw in those days, and the sign of a big spender. Now this was way before chip and pin, never mind contactless payments, and I asked the client to sign for the purchase. I looked at his signature and compared it to the one on the back of his credit card. They were two completely different signatures. What did I do? Thank you very much, sir. And I handed back his card. Now, there's no bad ending to this story. It wasn't a scam. I didn't lose my job for failing to pull him up on his dodgy signature. He just had an inconsistent style to signing his name, or he couldn't be bothered to copy the one on his card. My point in sharing this story is that it's a day-to-day example of authority in action. This man felt important, influential, authoritative. And that convinced me to believe in him, to think him good for the money, even though his signature didn't match. Now you can probably think of examples in your life where you've had this feeling with others. Or maybe you've used the idea yourself to blag your way into a party or to skip a queue. When you act with authority, you are questioned less often. You are believed. You are persuasive. So, how to deliver your sales messages with authority to be more influential? Let me clarify something first. I'm not suggesting that we use authority to convince people that something is good when it's not, to sell them something that's not legitimate by using authority before disappearing with their money. No, sales, when done properly, is helping people make good buying decisions. We do that by finding out the truth about their needs and offering a solution that helps them. I'm talking about authority because sometimes you find out the truth about a client's needs and you have the solution to help them, but you fail to convince them because your message is delivered with hesitation, without conviction, without belief or clarity, and you lose when you should have won. So here are 3 steps to increase your authority when selling. The first step is knowledge. Know your stuff. It's hard to be a voice of authority when you simply don't know what you're talking about. So learn, and learn quickly, about your product or service, about the competition, about the problems faced by potential clients, and about their buying process. The second step is to cut out uncertainty. When you use uncertain words or delivery, it reduces your authority. Uncertain words are often fillers with no meaning, like kind of, sort of, obviously, basically, honestly. What I'm trying to say is, in most cases, these words have no meaning, and they just pad out the delivery of your message whilst you're thinking of what to say next. It's hard to get rid of them completely, but try to minimize them. You'll find it easier if you slow down your speech. Pause. Don't fill. The third step to delivering with authority is preparation. Work out what you want to say. Not a word-for-word script. That's wooden and lacks authenticity. But what main points do you want to make? What key questions need to be asked and how will you ask them? Make some notes. That's the first part of preparation. The second part, practice. If you had a big speech to give at an event, you'd practice what you're going to say. At least I hope you would. Each sales call or sales meeting is the equivalent of that big speech, maybe even more important. So practice your delivery. Delivering sales messages with authority will transform the responses you receive. You'll be more credible, you'll gain respect, and you'll win far more deals by delivering with belief and with authority. So build your knowledge, prep and practice, and you'll cut down on uncertainty to deliver with authority. You'll be amazed at the difference it makes. If you found this helpful, give it a like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what's been your experience of authority in the past. Have you been persuaded or managed to use it to your own benefit? To brush up on your sales skills, to sell honestly, confidently, and consistently with authority, visit truesalesacademy.com to find out how we can help.